Volunteers are the life's blood of any small-town fire department, but many volunteer departments desperately need more men and women to join. In Turners Falls in Franklin County, they do have some paid firefighters, but they also depend on volunteers. Connecting Point correspondent Carolee McGrath spoke with Turners Falls Fire Chief John Zellmann to find out about this serious situation.
Everyone's struggling to get firefighters, whether it's call, volunteer. Recruitment and retention is a very big concern of ours, not only here in Turners Falls, but in the Commonwealth and probably even beyond.
So first of all, explain the scenario that we have up here. You have full-time and you also have a call list of volunteers. Describe the department for me.
We have, our roster is 12 career, and then we have call force firefighters who work at other places of business, and then they get called back on certain calls.
So you have a full-time staff and you also have a list of volunteers, but you need more volunteers. Tell us about your needs.
We've had as high as 20, I think it was 26 a couple years ago, but through guys retiring, leaving to go somewhere else, moving away, we're dropped down to 10. It's a struggle to get our second and third pieces of apparatus to the scene of a fire or emergency. That's where we're struggling. Not only that, is we're also mutual aid coming into us, or a lot of volunteer fire departments around us, they're struggling the same way. So when we call for help, they may or may not be coming right away. That's one of our biggest issues we have right now.
Why do you think that is? Why don't you have the volunteer base that you used to have?
We've been seeing this trend happen the last several years. I think people's lives are busy. Volunteerism has kind of dropped down. The requirements to be a call force firefighter is quite a low now, with certifications, with first aid, CPR, and then just the requirements for like hazmat and firefighting skills.
Why do you think there aren't as many volunteers as there used to be? And do you just think it's the changing landscape of the market up here, of businesses leaving? Is that
It's
part of the
nationwide. I think it's nationwide. Like I said, but the demands our families are putting on everybody, our jobs, a lot of the places of businesses are hesitant to let their personnel go because of it costs money to shut a machine down, things like that. I think that's the biggest problem. A lot of our guys work out of town now. A lot of the businesses have moved out. You know, we still have a good core here of industry, but...
So that's definitely part of it, with businesses leaving and places shutting down.
And people working out of the area. And we have people that work at UMass. Pagers don't work down there. To come back is not realistic.
Can you tell us about any recent situations where it was a real problem not having enough volunteers?
Recently, we've had a few building fires where not only we're struggling to get personnel there because they're either tied up at work or somewhere else. Mutual aid coming into us. We've had a couple of departments unable to respond, unable to get enough personnel to respond an engine. So when you're relying on them to come into you and then give them an assignment, and they're not there in a reasonable amount of time, you have to adapt and start doing other things. And in saying that, we've been pretty lucky. We get lucky, we got a really good group of guys here. We were able to save a lot of the buildings, but we're running that fine line of property, and hopefully nobody ever gets hurt or worse because of not having enough guys.
Okay, which people listening to this interview would say, wow, I mean, that brings up some very big safety concerns.
Correct.
And I think people hearing that might say, oh my goodness, does this mean that, you know, safety would be an issue?
It is an issue. As chief of the department, you're trying to make sure everybody's safe on the fire ground. That's with enough personnel, and that's a struggle when the guys are not there. Firefighters are not there.
How do you encourage people to volunteer? Because like you said, people are busy.
We've tried a lot of things. We've tried posters, we've tried the media, we've tried going to businesses, the schools, and I'm not sure why people are hesitant to join. But we're always trying different things to try to recruit. We do pay our call force an hourly rate when they're training and when they come back to calls. That's a good benefit that we have. And there's a pay structure within the call force. And even that, we're struggling to get volunteers or callmen.
What would you say to people who are thinking about this? Like, how would you make the pitch to encourage people?
Please come out and help your fire department. If you're interested, stop by the firehouse, any firehouse for that matter. I'm not just, asking people to join the Turners Falls Fire Department. Join throughout. If you want to volunteer in your community, please do. Every fire department's looking for help. I just want some good personnel that we can keep for a very long time.
Chief John Zellmann, thank you so much for joining us
Thank
today.
you.